Few additional thoughts on the dominant 7, sharp 5, flat 9, sharp 9 chord on C on the 1, 2, 4, 5 string family. And the main suggestion here is the B flat minor 7 flat 5 chord, which of course comes from the D flat minor major 7 sound, and that would be here: A flat, D flat, B flat, and E. Also here, as we saw earlier, which would be E, B flat, A flat, and D flat. Also here, which we can see looks like a D flat minor 6, D flat, A flat, E, and B flat. And then finally here, B flat, E flat, D flat, and A flat. And if we listen to them in reference to C, even just playing them, we can hear that they indeed make the sound. They make the dominant with a sharp 5 and a flat 9 type sound. So the suggested activity then is to move each voicing. Add a C from the B flat on this one, A flat, D flat, B flat, E. Add a C, voice exchange with the E's. And that's a nice voicing. That's A flat, E, B flat, and E flat. And then maybe add the C, and then an F sharp perhaps to the resolution on the F. Additionally here, the B flat and E and D flat and A flat, and again we got that from the diminished scale voicings, and we said to move anything that was a 13 or a 5th down or up to the sharp 5. So there it is. We're just moving that voicing down. Now we can move the D flat to E flat. So now we have B flat, E, E flat, A flat, and we can move the top voice to G flat. And all of those voicings work for that sound. And when we move down here, remember we can move this voicing, the B flat, to the C, and then that'll give us a D flat minor major 7 sound. If we move the top voice to E flat, there's our E major 7 sharp 5 sound that we said comes from that family of sounds as well. And again, coming off the sharp 9 itself, E, C, B flat, and E flat, and we can move that to a flat 9. So we can move the top voice from E flat to D flat. So all of these voicings have the sound that we need. That looks like an E major 7 with a flat 5. And of course, we know that that resolves to C. F. Okay. The next voicing, this is the E major 7 sharp 5, E, A flat, E flat, and C, which sounds, and then we can move the top to B flat. So again, we're getting the B flat minor 7 flat 5 sound over the C in the bass, which gives us the sharp 5, flat 9, sharp 9 sound, and flat 5 sound if we want it. So each of those is a perfectly legitimate way. And we began the discussion with this voicing, which was the B flat minor 11, flat 5. So B flat, E, C, and E flat moving to D flat. So each of those sounds like the C chord, of course resolving to the F. Okay, so each one of those has that sound. If we were to put it all in a cadence, for instance, here's a D flat major 7 with a flat 5, and we moved it up. So that's for G minor flat 5, and then we have the E, B flat, E flat, A flat here, going for the C, and then we move this up. We have an F minor major 7 with a 9th 6/9 minor 6/9 sound coming from this. So all of those sounds are applicable. They're all usable. Okay. The next thing is the whole tone scale, and as we did before, we did the flat 5 chords. I'll start on C, and in that whole tone scale, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, B flat, whatever. So the first one is the flat 5, C, G flat, E, B flat, E, B flat, F sharp or G flat, and C. And then the first voicing repeats at the tritone F sharp, and the second voicing repeats at the tritone B flat. Each note in the voicing can be moved to any other note within that whole tone scale. For example, if we start here, we can move the top voice down from B flat to A flat. So we have, okay. If we take the second one, we can move the top voice to D, from C to D. That's it. Hit the wrong one. The next one, we can do the same thing. Perhaps we can move the middle voice, this C to D. And we have that kind of a voicing. And then we have this one. So the same thing can happen. We can move both voices. We can move B flat to C, and we can move C to D. So it becomes this sort of a voicing. On C, C, E, D, and A flat, and move the top voice. That's a nice voicing, a nice group of whole tone voicings. The second thing is to approach it from the sharp 5 chord. So I'll make C7 flat 5 sharp 5. I'll just take the F sharp to G sharp, and I'll do the same thing. F sharp to G sharp. There's my voicing. F sharp to G sharp in this case. And we've seen that voicing. There it is. G sharp, C, B flat, and E. And then finally the last one. So we have all the voicings. These are all the sharp 5 voicings now, which are all jumping off points. You know, the bass note can even move, and we can adjust voicings as we need them, so we can include both of them. There are some more unusual voicings that are a little tougher to finger. This one's nice. That's a nice one. That's a little tougher, but it's a great chord. G. This time we have a second in the bass. G sharp, A sharp, F sharp, and D, and that can, you know, perhaps collapse like that and make it a little easier to get into a sequence. Also, this is nice. E, C, G sharp, and A sharp. So now the second is up top. So it makes it a little easier to kind of manage. Okay, but ultimately, any note from the whole tone scale from any one of these voicings as a starting off point voicing, you know, is fine. It's really just a matter of finding the notes in the scale. Just that's nice too as well. Just kind of, it's really good. I like that sound, and it's very easy to do to alleviate the tediousness of the scale. You know, and this is just an aesthetic thing. Sometimes it's nice to do them in contrary motion and combine both scales. For instance, you do a voicing on F sharp, then do one on G, then E, F, you know, this sort of a thing, just to kind of make it a little less tedious. That's a little better. So that was just a voicing on A flat, a voicing on A, F sharp, voicing on G, and I keep the melody so it's chromatic. So this is, and then the ultimate resolution, maybe do it to a C or a D flat chord.